Hello everyone, Grunge Ashtro here. I don't know why I'm talking like that. Hotel Hazbin pilot is out now. It has been out a week as of now, or maybe 2 weeks, depending on whenever I end up putting this one out. I don't know. I thought, why not do a little editor's commentary, I guess. So I will go through and explain different parts. First, you guys notice this. Brand new, you guys have never seen it before. There we go. Frog Astro. Obviously, because my profile picture is a frog, it has been for about 2 years now, since I started making content under Grunge Ashtro. So this is something that my sibling, Willow, actually animated for me. I came up with the idea for it, so this is what it is, and I love it very much, since I guess I'm associated with frogs now. So that's kind of my thing. I added my name there. That was something cool. Singing this song, I redid this song more times than I can count, more times than I would like to admit. It was a lot. I had to use AI to capture just these guys here. And of course to get Lucifer here and Lilith. I wasn't able to make this look more like Charlie. I just didn't really have a way to do that, so I just kind of left it as is. But we have Lucifer here at least. Twinsies right there. Editing this part took way longer than I would like, and it's only just a few seconds. But it took so long to edit because I had to redo it 3 times to get it the way I wanted it to look. This part, surprisingly, was easier than I thought it was going to be. Right here, there's not much of a difference, but compared to the original, it's a bit more rounder up here, a bit more wider, because that's Charlie's hair, which, you know, is poofy. Poofier than Lucifer's. So that's really the only difference here at all. And then, of course, Lucifer, I gave him a horrible haircut, but that's how I ended up redrawing him. So we have that. Some editing, it took a little bit on that as well, but it turned out okay. Then everything else here from the beginning stayed the same. And right here, this bothers me because I didn't notice it until after I had already edited a good chunk of it, and already made this picture, because what I did was I had to redraw all the faces, right? Their face on green, so I can use chroma key. Otherwise it was just not gonna work. So, but this right here, somehow I missed that when I was redrawing, and I did not erase that little bit. So every single time that the back of Lucifer's head pops up, this is there. And it bothers me, but it would have been way too much of a hassle to go back and re-fix them all, because if I was to just, oh, it's easy to just crop it out or just erase it, I would have to go back and re-edit the entire thing, because it would reshape it or resize it, and it would be wrong for every single keyframe. And of course I went frame by frame, so that's like hundreds of keyframes to have to go back and change all over again. So I said, you know what? It's minuscule. Probably no one's gonna notice it until now. Now all of you are gonna notice this every time you watch it. And Carmilla, whenever she's drinking from the cup, that took way longer than I would like to admit. Look at Carmilla right there. To keep the cup in front of the picture here, it is a lot harder than you would think. And if it would show up whenever I do screen recording of Filmora, which it doesn't show up, I've tried it, I would show you all what I do to do that. It is a pain in my behind, but it does work very, very cool. And now that... No, don't go all the way back to the beginning. Right here, okay. You guys know the original. There is a big lady right here. And obviously it doesn't say Radio Studios, and you don't have Alistair's, you know, thingamabob here. This took maybe an hour, 30 minutes to an hour to edit, I think, in Ibis Paint is how I redid it. And honestly, I'm pretty proud of how it turned out, especially the sky, because that was the most annoying part, especially down here, having to repaint these buildings. I didn't do very good on this one. The letters were surprisingly easy. Right up here was difficult because I had to redo some of the lights, and this is probably too blurry to read, but it's paused here if you want to read it. Mimsy, very jumpy, but I didn't really have a way to smooth it out the way that I was editing. There was just no way to really do that. Unless there is, and I just don't know it at the moment, which is possible. This took a long time too. Not really editing this, but, well, it kind of did because I had to obviously erase Rosie's name, and I had to redo each one of these, and then of course, you know, write Mimsy over it, and then edit it all, and it was just a pain. And then AI stuff so that her hand wouldn't go behind this, because it stops right there. So yeah, that took, gosh, so long. Her face took like 5 seconds to put in. Well, more than that, but it didn't take as long. Editing in every single angel dust in this whole beginning half took so long because there were so many of them to do. So I did not change their facial expressions unless absolutely necessary. Look at him, he's even up here. I even went above and beyond and edited a little tiny angel dust right here, sliding down. Some of these parts are cropped as well, so you can't see. Some characters, like the egg voice, are not on screen, just to make it easier to edit. Sir Pentious. His head was so tough to edit because, for one, doing facial expressions was tough for his character, so I don't have many. Second, his hood. It was so tough to work around it. I couldn't just take it off, you know. That's part of him, so I just can't just, you know, he's got to have that. So I had to keep that on, but I cropped a little bit out because it was just, you know, it came all the way and it was just going to cover most of Cherry, so you couldn't really do that. His was just a hassle to deal with. Cherry, hers is a bit tough because her hair comes out and not just straight down. This down here, I don't know if anybody noticed it, but I was trying to figure out how in the world am I going to switch these and not mess up with how it looks up here. I couldn't figure that out. I thought, okay, I have an idea. We're gonna leave it, but down here where the words are, the scrubber's right in the way, but it says something completely new. I put something new in that to kind of explain this a little bit. So for those who, you know, haven't seen it, I'll read it off to you. It says, breaking news. Wait, fuck, I mixed up the names, didn't I? Tom's gonna kill me for that later. Fuck, I messed up the color too? Because, you know, it's supposed to be yellow. Originally it's yellow and not blue. I'm so gonna get fired for this, or killed by Tom. Well, if I die or get fired, I'll leave my office mug to Lou. He always made fun of it. But you know what? He's the weird one. Who the hell would be that obsessed with some green blob of clay? And a red one, apparently? I don't know. Some shit design. He sent me like 400 emails about how he's trying to get the news station to approve his little fan skit. Never gonna happen, buddy. Keep dreaming. Actually, stop dreaming, because it's getting creepy. Just shut up and take my mug. The longest part it took to edit for that section was just the text itself, but I thought it was really, really funny. So, it's actually based off of an inside joke with Cope and I. Lou being him. And then the green and red blob of clay is meant to reference Garten of Banban, which it's a whole inside joke where he's absolutely obsessed with it. With like all these fan skits, fan art, all that stuff. It's very, very funny. That was it. I had to add something like that in some way or another, so that's what I did. Ducky's voice was fun to do. Ducky's voice was just normally voiced by me. I just did the voice lines, and then I took the lines and I put them into an AI voice thingy, you know, that people use to make AI covers. I put those lines into that for a duck. Just put it in, and it got the vocals back, and they sounded like this. And I thought, this is gold. So, little fun fact, I was in Barnes & Noble when I was talking to Cope about this part. Well, not this part, but about Vaggie being a duck. I thought it would be really funny if Vaggie was a duck, because Lucifer loves ducks. He's obsessed with ducks, you know? So it would be super funny, just a little thing to that, if Vaggie was a duck. Because, you know, Charlie and Vaggie are dating, so Lucifer on the duck. It would be really funny. Of course, it would be Lilith, and it is going to be Lilith in the future songs as such that we do. But just for the pilot itself, I thought it's just Ducky. And I was talking to Cope about that, trying to figure out, because I thought it's going to be annoying if we keep Ducky through the whole thing, and I want to involve Lilith in that. You know, I don't want to ignore that she's, you know, a thing. And I think it was Cope who suggested, why don't you just do both? I can't remember exactly how it went. This was months ago, before I really started to edit the whole thing. I can't remember if Cope suggested, why don't you have Ducky just in the pilot, and then Lilith for the rest? Or some parts it would be Ducky, and just like switch to Lilith, like technical difficulties or something, which would have been really funny too. But we eventually decided, okay, let's just do Ducky for the pilot, and then the rest will be Lilith. Of course, that was also when we thought we were going to be able to do the whole episodes for season 1, which we cannot do because the channel will get absolutely whacked like a whack-a-mole if I do that. So I'd rather not do that. Just the songs, that should be just fine. But having Ducky as in the pilot is just something really, really funny. We eventually kept that. And I don't know if I would have done Ducky at all if Cope had not helped me figure that out. So you can thank Cope for Ducky being in the pilot. I remember this clip taking about 3 weeks, about a month, I think, to do just this clip alone, which was about 3.5 minutes, roughly. Of course, editing it the way that I did here, I had to go back like 2 or 3 times to make sure that the keyframes were right, because they would keep readjusting themselves, because it wasn't locking them in like it does now, the way that I edit the new parts of it, which look better. Now this here, the radio, was actually Cope's idea. It was very tough to edit in, but it was such a good idea that I had to do it. It just made sense, with Alistair being the one who's the overlord of the quote-unquote technology. Instead of Vox, then it would only make sense that radios were everywhere and being what everybody goes to instead of television. I redid this song several times as well. Not as many times as Always Chasing Rainbows, but just about. I did the backup vocals as well. I loved voicing Lucifer in this because he had so much. It was nervous energy trying to be made into excited energy, you know, how he is. Because I'm a ton like Lucifer in real life. So a lot of it was just me. If I'm just really excited about something, then this is how I am. This is how I sound. It was so fun to add his personality into it. Wow! I redid that wow like 5 times to get it the way I wanted it to.
All you monsters, thieves, and crazies, cannibals, and crying babies, frothing mouth is full of rabies.
That part was pretty improv. Pretty much it was improv, and it was a lot of fun. I was just kind of singing it to myself before I recorded it, and just kind of did that, because I figured if Lucifer actually saw someone who had rabies, he'd be like, oh shit, okay. So I kind of added that into it. I thought it just fit him so well, so I had to keep it. Frank. The only Frank in hell, that's how everybody knows him. Anything having to do with this turf war took so long to edit, and I feel like that took most of the time, was just editing that alone. A lot of the shadows I didn't really edit because there was just not really any need for it. This is what I'm talking about with Serpentious' face. It was just, there was just no way I could really do that unless I wanted to take like 5 more months to get it look professional. I just don't have the patience though. That right there, that was tough to do because there were so many eggs that I would have had to make into angel dust. Of course you can see one right here that I did not notice during editing until I exported it, and then I noticed it. But this all got edited myself. I tried to make it look as seamless as I could. It didn't really turn out that seamless, and I forgot to add their faces! Oh, I didn't even see that until just now. Dang! Well, it took so long to figure this part out. I remember just kind of sitting back in my chair looking at it for a minute, literally like this. And I was just like, okay, how in the world am I going to do this? Because it's going to, I do not have the patience to edit that many angel dusts. Filmora is going to explode on me if I try. I need to figure this out. And so it took so long to figure out, okay, I need to find a way to get rid of this many eggs. I couldn't crop anything, it wouldn't look good, and it was still too many eggs. So somehow I thought, okay, what if I only have this part here where you can see these guys, but erase all of them? Took forever, and it came out with that. Not the cleanest, but it's there. This right here came out way better than I was expecting. Because usually if there's a lot of fast movements like in that clip, it won't turn out very clean. But that one turned out, like, perfect. I didn't expect it to at all, but it did. Somehow. This here, it didn't take that long to edit, both redraw and editing in. It would have taken much less if I hadn't edited the wrong picture in to begin with. By the way, right there was also Cope's idea. You can find the video on his channel actually when we did a read-through of the script. Cope was just kind of improvising a little bit and messing around and thought that it would be such a funny idea. What if nobody could understand what the hell Ducky is saying, except for Lucifer can somehow know what Ducky's saying. So you could thank Cope for having that really funny idea. Right there, I actually had to edit Lucifer's face like normal, but then use AI to kind of only have Charlie's hair so that it would go over Lucifer's face. Even if it was only 2 seconds, I didn't think it would make much sense otherwise. That too, up there, right up here, that took the longest to edit out of all the building redos. That's a horrible way to word it, but out of all of the background redraws I had to do, this one took the absolute longest. I think it took me an entire day to get it done, but that was, you know, stopping in between to do some other stuff. But I do remember it taking most of my day to edit this alone. It took so long. And edited in actually turned out pretty decent, pretty okay. Even though you only see it for like 2 seconds. And I just did that with the door because I did not want to have to worry about drawing shadows for them, new faces, and having to edit Lucifer walking both in and out, which you'll see the out in a minute. I had to make another layer of the video, which is what I did for anything that I say I had to use AI to use. This is what I mean. I had to make another layer of the video, and the new layer that was on the top, I had to use AI to crop out only the doors. So anything that was not the doors, like the area between the doors whenever it was opened, keep that visible. That way his face would appear behind this layer and come out, you know, so it would actually look like he's coming out of the door. I'm not the best at explaining. I would have to show it, but I can't show it, unfortunately. And here comes the man of the hour. Of course, I had to give him a TV remote. Right there, I wanted to be able to make Vox's suit blue, and I tried to, but the AI for some reason was just not picking it up no matter what I did. So I would have had to go frame by frame and redraw the entire thing, and by this point I had already gotten everything edited. I was just going back to add a few things if I wanted to, and I thought, I'm not going to waste my time on it. It would take me about an hour or two, and I didn't really want to do that. I think this was the second clip that I edited, actually. You could tell because Ducky's subtitles are different font. And also, doing their low quality faces was pretty fun to do. Vox's scares me. I don't like Vox's. It's scary to me. This was the only time this face was used. I only used it once. That part was hard to do. Any part where I have to zoom in or zoom out with the faces was so difficult to do, because in order for it to not look super incredibly jumpy, which most of them did anyways, it would be a lot of very minuscule zooming in and out, which was really tough to do when you don't even have all of the frames being shown to you. I only had some of the frames shown to me, which was how I edited it. Against everything I'm trying to do. Everything I believe in. Just trust me. I can take care of myself. This is pretty much me just talking to myself. I just kind of realized that. Of course, made everything blue rather than green.
So where is your hotel staff?
It's run by a duck. Velvet's face was so tough to work with because in the screenshots that I got, her face was, well, she was in a shadow, so very dark. So I had to lighten the whole thing while trying to maintain the same colors. Valentino's was actually super easy to do. Even facial redraws was super easy. So that was good at least. Velvet's was the hardest to work with. So I did not make many expressions for her. It was just taking too long.
Well, you can.
Of course, everybody just kind of jokes that he's drinking the book. No context at all. There wasn't a way to remove the drinking sound, so I just kind of had to leave it. But it was also just way too funny to take out, so he just drinks the book. This section, it wasn't really difficult. It's just, it was very tedious, having to move all the faces and such. For some reason, it was just more tedious than other sections. I don't know why, but it was. I'm surprised that the spinning there turned out way better than I thought it was going to. I almost took out that section with the door, but I thought it's gonna be really funny, so I left it. And same thing, like I mentioned with Lucifer in the beginning, if you saw that little right here, I don't remember how that got there on the picture when I did the redraw, and then I do the green screen, or the chroma key to get the green out, and it leaves this. I don't know how this got there, but it was on a few of them, and I guess I forgot to take that out, so it's just kind of there. Making everybody's face be a darker color, you know, more red color, and then fade to the normal ones, surprisingly wasn't that tough. Valentino already has bad eyesight. I don't know how he could even see past Lucifer's hat. This part was extremely tedious because he had every single character almost right here at the same time. And zooming out, making everything smaller, and then move down at the same time was a nightmare. Took so long to do. I cannot tell you how happy I was when I got that part done. And this part, because I had to zoom in and move it up, it was extremely jumpy because I could not see every single frame. But that transition, I found an effect in Filmora, pastel blur, something like that, I think, and perfectly timed. It made that transition so seamless, and it's just satisfying to watch. Just love that. And of course, editing this too, I think this was one of the first ones that I edited to, instead of being Hazbin Hotel, you know, swapped it, or Happy Hotel, whatever. Swapping them actually was not that tough, and I have to say I'm pretty proud of how it came out. It turned out way better than I was worried it was gonna come out to look. Okay, the background here, I don't know if anybody noticed it, but I actually went in and redid it. I'm not too proud of how he turned out, but everything else I think was decent. I wish I had done something with the shadow. I could have, had I known then what I know now, then I could have done that. I didn't. At the time, I was still learning how to edit this way. Before I did this project, I knew a little bit how to do it. Not very well, but I could kind of do it. And I thought, I could totally make like a fan episode of something like this. I can absolutely do that. When I didn't have much practice in it at all. Well, now I do after this entire thing. Now I feel like I can edit more things like this if I needed to or wanted to, and I don't, but I am going to for the rest of Hotel Hazbin. Future projects, I will not be doing this again, I don't think. I don't know if I will do AU swaps again. Everybody in the cast did a great job. I'm super proud of all of you guys. You're incredible. I know that it must have been kind of stressful with some deadlines I was trying to put on, and the fact that I've never worked with a cast before, so this was my very first time ever working with a group. So thank you, cast, as well, for your patience with me. Thank you for your patience working with me. I appreciate it so much, and I really hope that it is not disappointing you guys too much that we cannot do the full episodes. I'm super glad that we did get to get this out here and that so many of you guys enjoyed it. It makes me super happy. 300 views as of recording this, and I'm recording it the day after it's premiered. 300 views already. That's insane. So it's all of you guys' support, and of course the cast, your support as well when I've been going through and editing this. It means a lot. All of you guys. Big hugs to all of you. I appreciate every one of you so much. And as of now, content on my channel is going to be liberated from Hazbin, Hotel, and Helluva Boss content only. I'm going to be moving on, branching out to other kinds of content from different kinds of stuff. Swapped lyrics, I think that's always going to be my thing. I have way too much fun doing that, so that's definitely something that I think I'm going to keep up. So I think that is it from me. If you have any kind of questions that you're curious about when it came to editing Hotel Hazbin, putting it all together, anything like that, or if you want to know what it's like if you're curious about auditioning for future projects, then comment those below. I will do my best to answer those the best I can. And yeah, I think that's all for me, so I will see you guys in the next video.